people will never control their reality because they've already lost control of their own mind and they don't even know what happened. 24/7, your subconscious is being reprogrammed by forces that don't have your best interests in mind. A lot of people nowadays feel powerless, anxious, or stuck. They keep ending up in the same situation over and over again, not because they're weak, but because their mind have been colonized from outside. And most of us are running on autopilot without even realizing it. And if you want to start transforming your reality, you have to recognize that your inner kingdom, your mind, is the foundation of all creation. And when that inner domain is being shaped by outer influences and forces, then you're handing over your creative power to someone else. And on a bigger scale, our minds are being used to shape a reality we're not even fully conscious of, yet immerse ourselves in. So the real war is not out there. The real war is for the control of our minds. Within every single one of us lies the force to shape reality in any way possible. I can guarantee you that. And that's why the system works so hard to keep our minds engaged 24/7 so that we never actually notice what's happening inside of us. And those individuals, corporations, elites who have already grasped this concept and are also aware of universal laws are literally exploiting your creative power in order to shape and sustain their own reality without you even knowing it. And in this video, I want you to show you something simple but powerful, that all creative forces already lie with every one of us. And by the end of the video, you will know how to reclaim them in order to take ownership again. To understand why your inner world served as the foundation of all creation, let me give you the simple picture. Think of your mind like soil. Everything you think, everything you feel, everything you consume gets planted into that soil. And whatever you keep planting eventually grows and develops strong roots. And most of us are planting garbage and poisoning their soul every day with fear, comparison, lust, outrage, distraction, and then wondering why their life looks like a wheat field. The soil doesn't care about your good intentions. It only cares about what you put into it day after day. And before we go any further, I want everyone to do something with me. Take a moment right now and honestly look at your inner world. If your mind was a garden, would it be a place where you truly want to live and thrive? Or has it become overgrown by things you did not always consciously choose? And if you're willing to do this right now with me, just pause the video, be in silence, and turn your attention inward for just a moment. I can guarantee you, most people never do this. They spend their whole life trying to fix the outside, their job, their money, their body, relationships, while completely ignoring the garden inside. And there's the point, because they never look within, they stay stuck in the same pattern, in the same pain, in the same chaos, no matter how hard they try on the outside. And to give you an even better picture to understand this mechanism, imagine your mind like a projector that never stops running. Every single day it is continuously playing movies based on whatever you feed it. Your thoughts, your emotions, what you scroll, what you watch, what you consume, and what you allow to stay in your inner field. And when the input is chaotic, fearful, from outside sources that don't align with who you want to be, then as a result, you start to project or create a reality that does not align with who you want to be. So basically, for everyone who needs to hear this again, input equals output. Movie you put into the projector is the movie that puts on your screen. Screen equals your reality. And this is why the projector, for most of the people, starts spiraling out of control. Because their movies become chaotic, asymmetrical, and disconnected from who you really are. Because there's the point, you are no longer watching your own movie. You are watching someone else's movie that had been projected onto your screen because you chose to insert it into your projector. And this is why so many people nowadays actually feel like bots, like they're actually executing someone else's program, because they are. And those people, when their external input is removed, when the phone is off, when the noise stops, those people feel completely lost because they don't have any movie of their own left to run. They became dependent on the projector being fed from the outside. And this isn't just a metaphor. This is actually backed by real science. You're literally projecting what you consistently insert into your mind. Reclaiming your mind means taking territory back, and reclaiming your mind means taking back control of the projector. It means stopping the endless playback of movies that were never actually yours, and finally starting to direct your own one. And this is the real mechanism behind colonization. I've seen this very clearly with many people around me. The longer someone avoids sitting with themselves, the more uncomfortable and painful it gets to be alone with their mind. And this is actually so sad. A lot of people cannot go even one day without constant external stimulation, without scrolling, noise, entertainment, or running on autopilot, because their inner world has become so weak and overgrown, basically a very uncomfortable place to be. And this is exactly why it has become so difficult in modern times to do the real work, because everything around us nowadays is deliberately engineered to pull your attention outward every second of the day. Short videos, constant notifications, endless scrolling, cheap dopamine, fear, and just stimulation. And all of it is designed to make sure you never stay with yourself long enough in order to see what's actually growing inside of you. And why especially stop scrolling? Because it's one of the most efficient ways ever created in order to colonize your mind with other people's energy, agendas, ideologies, and making you think at the end it was your own choice. You remember I gave you the example before with the projector. If you think of it like that, most people actually think the things that they're creating or thinking, this is their own persona, but it's not. And this is why so many people actually feel empty. So the system doesn't want you to sit with yourself. It doesn't want you to look what's really growing inside your inner kingdom, because the moment you start facing your own internal world, your darkness, your pain, your fear, the asymmetry, the darkness you have been avoiding for so long, that's the actual moment where you begin to develop real strength. And this kind of strength cannot be taken from outside or control. So real power does not come from fixing the reflection in the mirror. It comes from having the courage to turn around and clean the garden inside. This is exactly where the real work begins, and also real freedom comes. And therefore it's important to choose consciously what gets a seat in your inner kingdom or what just makes it dirty. Most advice just tells you work harder, fix your habits, or think positive, or build routines. But if your subconscious is being flooded with garbage every single day, those efforts get neutralized before they even have a chance. So you can actually water your mind by writing down goals every morning and repeat positive affirmations. But if your nervous system is still addicted to dopamine from a fucking screen, and if your body does not feel the future you're trying to create, then your subconscious will never accept it as real, because your thinking mind can plant the seed, but it is your feeling mind that actually grows it. So without emotional symmetry, without your body genuinely feeling the reality you're trying to create, then the subconscious rejects it and it stays in the old soil and nothing truly changes. And this is actually why most self-improvements in 2026 fails, because people are trying to build a new life on top of a mind that is still being colonized every single day, and a nervous system that still believes the old reality is safer. And the hardest part is that this generation has to try to reclaim their mind in the most hyper-stimulated, scattered environment humanity has ever created, with constant noise, endless dopamine, and algorithms just designed to keep you hooked. And all of it makes it extremely difficult to stay with yourself long enough to actually think your own thoughts again. And I see this especially in the rise of the looks maxing communities and get-rich-quick gurus. So many people are desperately trying to fix their pain and insecurity through outer results. Better jawline, more money, and better physique, more status. And while none of those things are inherently bad, they become a trap when they used to avoid the real work inside. So most modern self-improvement just teaches you to improve the reflection in the mirror. It teaches you to get more results on the outside, but it rarely teaches you how to clean your inner garden inside. And that's why so many people cope with their insecurities through over-materialism and flashing money. They rather chase the image of success because inside it still feels empty or unworthy. And then they're wondering why the anxiety never really leaves. And even worse, many of y'all keep consuming content from people who constantly flash wealth, chains, cars, luxury as a proof of power. And then they watch it daily without even realizing that they start harmonizing with their frequency. So the dangerous part for society is they assimilate with the belief that more stuff equals more value, and their own soil gets poisoned even deeper. This is unconscious colonization in full action. By creating this kind of poisoned mind, they are effectively exploiting people's desperate need for confirmation and validation from others, because those people have been colonized internally, and you cannot fill inner void with outer noise. And the more you feed your mind with that kind of content, the harder it becomes to hear your own thoughts again. So fixing the outside rarely works long term. What actually does work? The answer is both ancient and simple. The external world is not the cause. It never was. It is only the reflection of what you consistently plant inside your inner world, and what you think and what you feel and what you allow into your mind day after day. So when you change the cause, your internal world, your external reality has no choice but to rearrange and grow symmetrical to your internal world. So most people give away their most valuable real estate for free: your mind, your attention, your thoughts, your emotional state. This is actually the most valuable real estate you will ever own. And right now, almost everyone is handing it over to algorithms, fear, notifications, and comparisons and other people's agenda without even realizing it. For years, I watched how people, including myself, tried to fix deep inner insecurities and pain through outer result, like the things I've earlier mentioned: money, better looks, and status, and habits, and all those things. And while some of these things can feel good temporarily, they almost never fix what's actually broken inside. And when those things are taken away, the person who never builds real inner strength often falls apart. And I've been in that position myself. There was a time where I had what most people consider everything on the outside, where having nothing at the inside. Basically, everything on the surface in my external reality looked completely comfortable, successful, stable. And this was the big problem. It was just too comfortable, and there was just too much noise around me. And this kept me blind to my inner world, to my inner state. I just didn't observe what was currently growing inside of me silently. I was just looking everywhere except inward during this time. And when the whole mechanism took place and things grew symmetrical to my internal state, things started to slowly fall apart, and I was just left with myself. No external movie, no noise, nothing. And this was a very painful moment, to be honest, but also the beginning of one of the best changes that ever happened to me. Because when everything on the outside is taken away or collapses, you're just left with one thing, like I just said, yourself. And that can actually be the most powerful position to be in. When the outer world no longer supports the old version of you, you finally have the chance to rebuild from inside. You get the opportunity to clean the garden inside instead of just decorating the outside of a broken house. You don't want to do this, right? So, because no matter how good your outer life looks, if the soil inside remains toxic or neglected, you will eventually feel it. And you will feel the emptiness, the anxiety, the quiet knowing that something is still off, and no amount of outer success can fully cover that up forever, because the real work has always been internal. So if you turn inward and start being fully conscious and responsible for what you feed your mind, and what you consistently feel, something powerful will begin to happen. You will become the master of your own reality again, and you will stop letting other people's agenda shape and master your reality, and you will simply turn off the autopilot once and forever. And this is the real force needed to reclaim your mind and to transform reality the way you want to have it. And this is available to anyone who's willing to do the work. So what does it actually mean to reclaim your mind in your daily life? It means stopping the silent occupation of your inner kingdom and taking ownership again. Most people are not consciously running their own mind. They are being run by it. Old emotional loops, reactive patterns, and constant external input are playing them on autopilot, shaping their reality 24/7 without them ever realizing it. And reclaiming your mind is the daily act of interrupting that automatic programming for being reactive to things you shouldn't be reactive to. So it is learning to notice when you're about to scroll or do some things just out of habit, when an old emotional spiral starts to run, when you're consuming something that actually scatters you, and then choosing differently. This is the point, choosing differently. And Charles Haanel, one of the godfathers of human psychology, I would really encourage you to get into his work, explain the core mechanism behind this through the law of causation. This is actually very interesting. He showed that your thinking mind, the objective mind, plants the seed, while your feeling mind, the subjective mind, grows it into reality. And when these two are working together with awareness and with symmetry, you stop being a passive recipient of whatever enters your field. You start to actively shape what is growing inside of you and therefore what is growing outside of you. So don't be like everyone who's letting their mind run on autopilot the entire day, scrolling, reacting to whatever appears in front of them without ever interrupting the pattern and then wondering why they're empty or stuck. Instead, be the one who takes ownership of their mind and becomes extremely selective about what you allow into your inner real estate. It means catching yourself in loops and refusing to feed them. Don't give them attention. It means choosing again and again what you feed your mind and what you consistently feel. And instead of only removing what harms you, begin to deliberately feed your mind with higher quality input, starting with silence. I actually want you to keep this in mind. Silence is one of the most important practices in order to make this work. You'll have to be comfortable in silence and you have to command your body to be quiet. Otherwise, you can't command reality because your mind controls reality, what you think. And if you can't control the input and therefore your body, how you react to your own feelings, then this whole thing won't work. So silence is basically nowadays the opposite of our modern days of stimulation. And in silence, you stop the endless projector in your mind and you let your subconscious mind finally breathe. In that space, you can finally reconnect with your inner self without feeding the old loops at the same time. And before you consume anything, before you scroll anything, before you react to something, or before you just basically say yes, stop just for a second and ask yourself this question. Is this symmetrical to the version I want to become? Or is this taking me further away from who I really am or from who I really want to become? This single question, I'm telling you all, is your daily compass in this sea of distraction. I can guarantee you, if you use this consistently, you will stop getting lost while chasing things that actually scatter you, and you will move much faster and natural toward your goal. And the more you practice this, the less dependent you become on external stimulation, the more you take back full control. And for me, this has looked like reading books that actually gave me real knowledge instead of just simple entertainment. It has looked like training my body in order to grow discipline. You all already know, most likely a strong vessel supports a strong mind. And the most important part, again, becoming extremely selective with what I allow to be present in my mind, especially through social media and content. I only keep what generally strengthens me and what feels symmetrical to what I want to project in my life. So for example, if I see something at my For You page, I just observe it and ask myself the question, if I now insert this into my projector, what kind of value does this provide for me? And then I can finally come to a symmetrical decision. It's easy as that. So it doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency in choosing consciously. Start with small, deliberate acts of ownership. Do not consume anything you did not consciously choose. No phone, no news, no media. This single act already shifts the colonization of your mind. And I know for a lot of people, this will be extremely hard. So just try to cap it to the first 90 minutes of your day. This is where your subconscious is the most active, where you're most likely to fall for all these things. So you can also just train it by applying this to a specific time of your day. So throughout the day, practice becoming the observer of your mind. This is also one of the most important terms, because being the observer is the complete opposite of being a passive recipient and someone who's reactive to everything he shouldn't be reactive to. So when you're in the observer mode, just when you notice yourself doing something out of pure habit, which does not really benefit you, just pause for a second and ask, am I choosing this, or is this choosing me? And when an old emotional loop appears, anxiety, comparison, and resentment, this is the moment where you activate the observer mode. This is the moment. So you simply notice it, and then you refuse to feed it with more of your attention, and you stop being reactive to it. And this is how you stop strengthening the old patterns that are running your life. And over time, these small acts of conscious choice, that's the part, conscious choice, they're gonna add up, and you will begin to interrupt the automatic programming. You will stop feeding loops without even realizing it if you keep doing this, and you start feeding your mind and nervous system with things that are actually aligned with the life you want to create. And as a result, reality has no choice but to rearrange and grow symmetrical to your inner world, like I already said 1,000 times now. So this is actually the daily fight of your mind. And every time you choose consciously, instead of running on autopilot, you're actually taking territory back. And that territory is just yours. And I'm not here to give you surface level motivation, or to tell you work harder, or to sell you another hustle method, while completely ignoring your internal world or what's actually happening inside of you, because I don't know what's happening inside of you all. So I'm also not standing here as someone who has figured it all out. I'm still walking up this path myself, but I've come to understand something that changed everything for me in a very positive way, which I will always be thankful for. And therefore, if you don't choose consciously what is growing inside of you, destructive forces will eventually grow on their own. And over time, those forces don't just remain inside. They begin to shape your relationships, your decisions, your opportunities, and the life you're trying to build. And I've seen this happen to many people around me, and I've also felt it in my own life. Trust me on that one, guys. And I'm here to help you to understand how reality actually responds from inside out, and how to take back control of what's actually growing inside your inner world in a time where almost everything around us is designed to take that control away from us. And every time you choose to look inward instead of staying distracted, you're not just improving your life, you're protecting everything you actually care about from slowly being destroyed from forces you never chose.